Well, we haven't seen Nigel Farage at Prime Minister's Questions in a little while. He came out publicly, of course, stating that there was no point him really being there due to him just kind of getting mobbed on when he does arrive. However, he was there today and he did ask the Prime Minister a question, and it was with regard to the shutting down of illegal migrant hotels. In today's video, we are, of course, going to be watching and reacting as Keir Starmer gets rattled. As always, guys, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. Have a watch.
Recently. But while this Labour government is taking real action to support care leavers, a Reform councillor has disgracefully described children in care as downright evil. Will the Prime Minister... He said it. Will the Prime Minister, and I hope the whole House, join me in condemning Reform's vile rhetoric? And will he reassure us that this Labour government will continue to support the protections and opportunities for all our care leavers?
Well, Mr. Speaker, November marks the first ever Care Leavers Month, and that is a time to recognise that every child deserves support to achieve their potential. And through our landmark Children's Wellbeing Bill, we're requiring every local authority to help care leavers find secure accommodation. It saddens me that the parties opposite voted against it. The comments about children in care being evil are utterly appalling. And now the member for Clacton has heard them. I'm sure he'll want to condemn them right now.
Nigel Farage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've only got 30 seconds. The Prime Minister has stated very clearly that he wants to close the migrant hotels by the end of this Parliament. Well, the Reform-led West Northamptonshire Council, brilliantly led council, will be issuing foreclosure notices on 3 migrant hotels within the next few days in response to grave public concern about the safety of women and girls on the streets of West Northamptonshire. Would the Prime Minister approve of us speeding up the closure of the migrant hotels?
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, we will grip the mesh we inherited and close every hotel. At their peak, under the previous government, there were 400 hotels. Now there are only 200 remaining. But he says he doesn't have time to condemn the comments calling children in care evil. He's also not had the time, it appears, to condemn the racist comments of his own MP. Utterly spineless.
Jeff Smith.
In other news, 4 million Britons now claim jobless benefits without any requirement to find work, new figures have revealed. New Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, data shows there has been a surge of more than 1 million people now claiming benefits under this arrangement since Labour came to power. A record number of Britons are also now claiming universal credit, IUC. 8.3 million people in October compared to 7.2 million at this time last year. This number equates to roughly a quarter of the British working age population. The DWP data also found a 50% increase in UC claimants who have no requirement to work since Sir Keir Starmer entered number 10. The increase of more than 1 million jobless benefits claimants in England, Wales and Scotland represents the largest spike since the pandemic. Between September and October, 159,654 more UC claimants were recorded, the sharpest rise since June 2020. DWP figures also showed the number of people born overseas claiming UC has hit record highs, with an estimated 1.24 million relying on the benefit. Shadow Work and Pensions Secretary Helen Whately labelled the latest figures shocking and that jabbed was classic Labour. She added, "That's millions of people not expected to work when many of them could and should be contributing to our economy." The spineless Prime Minister has already shown he's not prepared to take the tough decisions our country need. He caved into his left-wing backbenchers and welfare reform, and now it looks like he'll do the same with two-child benefit cap. It's classic Labour to pay more to people on benefits who have large families by picking the pockets of hard-working taxpayers. According to the Office for Budget Responsibility, the government is forecast to have spent £313 billion on welfare in 2024/25, 10.9% of the country's GDP. Welfare spending is projected to rise to £373.4 billion by 2030. There are also growing fears that the sharp rise could cause the entire benefit system to collapse. Earlier this year, the PM was forced to back down on cutting Britain's benefits bill after Labour rebels threatened to block its passage. A spokesman for the DWP said, "The number of people receiving universal credit has been increasing as we have invited tens of thousands of people each month to move from legacy benefits as they become phased out. We're determined to get more people off welfare and into work. That's why we are stepping up our plan to get Britain working with the most ambitious employment reforms in a generation." A group of 7 men have been charged with more than 40 offences against 11 teenage victims in Bristol. The men have been charged with the offences, which date from between 2022 and 2025. They were rearrested on Tuesday in a targeted police operation in Bristol and will appear at Bristol Magistrates Court later this morning. Mohammed Arafeh, 19, of Speedwell in Bristol; Sina Omari, 20, of Fishponds in Bristol; Wadi Sharaf, 21, of Redland in Bristol; Hussein Bashar, 19, of Southmead in Bristol; and Mohammed Kurdi, 21, of Hembury in Bristol, have all been charged. A 19-year-old man and a 26-year-old man, who cannot be named for legal reasons, have also been charged. Detective Chief Inspector Tom Herbert, the senior investigating officer, said, "This remains a complex and sensitive investigation which has the protection of young girls from exploitation and the disruption of offending at its very heart. Working with our partners, we've ensured the most appropriate safeguarding measures and support has been made available to each victim to protect them from harm. Officers have been working around the clock to identify potential offences, and we've worked extremely closely with the CPS to reach this highly significant stage." Bristol's Superintendent Deepak Kemph said, "Neighbourhood officers have been supporting the investigation since these offences were first identified. We know this update will be a huge shock to our communities, and I want to reassure everyone that we'll continue to work tirelessly to protect children from abuse and exploitation." Arafeh, who is Syrian Arab, has been charged with 5 counts of arranging or facilitating the sexual exploitation of a child, 1 count of causing or inciting the sexual exploitation of a child, 1 count of sexual assault, 1 count of being concerned in the supply of cocaine, and a further count of being concerned in the supply of ecstasy. Omari, who is Iranian Arab, has been charged with 2 counts of rape, 4 counts of arranging or facilitating the sexual exploitation of a child, 1 count of causing or inciting the sexual exploitation of a child, 2 counts of making an indecent photograph of a child, 1 count of being concerned in the supply of cocaine, and a further count of being concerned in the supply of ecstasy. Sharaf, 21, who is Syrian Arab, has been charged with 1 count of rape, 1 count of attempted rape, 3 counts of sexual assault, and a further count of sexual activity with a child. Bashar, who is British, has been charged with 1 count of rape. Kurdi, who is British Arab, has been charged with 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of arranging or facilitating the sexual exploitation of a child, 1 count of supplying a Class A drug, ecstasy, and a further count of supplying a Class B drug, cannabis. The 19-year-old has been charged with 4 counts of rape, 1 count of arranging or facilitating the sexual exploitation of a child, 1 count of distributing an indecent photograph of a child, 1 count of being concerned in the supply of cocaine, and a further count of being concerned in the supply of ecstasy. The 26-year-old has been charged with 2 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.